Welcome to another episode of the Shotcallers. Robin is hosting the episode, but he asked me to do the intro because I always bring the hype. Welcome to our inaugural Tuesday episode. The NBA has decided to run in fear of the NFL's Thursday night primetime matchup, bring Chuck and the crew onto Tuesdays, bring the audience to Tuesdays, and so the audience, we go where the audience is, and here we are. We are the Shotcallers. My name is Rich. To my visual left or right, I've got Kyle. Say what's up to people, Kyle.
What's good? What's good, everybody?
Robin, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Good, good, good. Are you ready for TN Tuesday, as I'm calling it?
TNTuesday, yes sir, yes sir. I like it. I like it. I like it a lot.
Where TNT is, that's where outside the NBA is. We have two games on the docket. Some might say that outside of the Miami Heat Dallas Mavericks matchup, that the Pelicans Suns matchup was on paper kind of mid. People that might say that include Kyle. Am I right, Kyle?
Yeah. You sound about right. Yeah,
That game's closer than the Mavs game. That's all I'm gonna say.
that's true. But it's I also when I realized Aiden's not playing, and a lot of people aren't playing for the Suns. It kind of lost a good amount of interest for me.
Please stop slandering number 3 in assists all time, Chris Paul. And before we get
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
rest of this talk, before we talk about that, we got to talk about Kyle. Tell them what they should be doing if they like our content.
If you like the content, make sure you like the video, subscribe, leave a comment, hit the notification bell, do all that good stuff if you like our comment on or our content on YouTube. Uh, Also, if you're just listening to just the audio version, we're everywhere. Uh, you can find podcasts. That includes Anchor FM, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher Breaker, and Pocket Cast. Make sure you leave us a great rating if you enjoy our stuff and share us wherever possible. All right.
Yeah, we appreciate that. And that should be it for that. Robin, where do you want to take us?
All right. If one of you guys want to give a quick recap for some people who may have missed the game.
Kyle, how would you describe this matchup between the Heat and the Dallas Mavericks in Dallas?
Uh, I describing this matchup, going into it, obviously, the Miami Heat, they have a lot of hype behind them. After these, first 6, 7 games of the regular season,
On this
and
very episode of or
yeah,
on this very podcast, some of us were talking about how we
yeah,
were on Tyler Hero as a 6 man of the year or most improved player candidate, and I
yeah,
think he came to play.
yeah, absolutely. And I thought this would be a good test for Dallas. They're still trying to implement, new stuff with Jason Kidd, and also Chris Stapps is out and uh, resting stuff. So, but starting out the game, in the first quarter, Dallas came out, pretty hot, and they held the lead throughout the first quarter, even though Miami bounced back. You're getting crazy passes from Kyle Lowry, Jimmy doing his thing on defense. They're throwing a lot of guys at Luca, um, and they were able to weather the first initial run. It was like a 13-2 run to open the game for Dallas or something like that, and
Hmm.
then Jimmy Jimmy, kept on getting to the foul line, taking it in, big body, getting the contact and getting to the line, all that kind of stuff. And that kept them in the game. They cut the lead down to like 6 at the end of the first. And after that, it was pretty much all Miami for the whole rest of the game. Uh, Luca had his moments, at times, Luca magic as they call it, especially in Dallas. But it wasn't enough to weather the heat. And the heat, I like I was telling Rich earlier, I had them third in the East for a reason. I'm definitely not underrating this Kyle Lowry trade. Um, and then on top of that, I definitely didn't predict Tyler Hero was gonna play as well as he has, but he's just been killing it.
What
Uh,
did I text you about? Text you guys about Kyle about Tyler Hero today, guys. Say the words that appeared on your phone.
I don't even remember what.
Robin, do you remember what I said?
You said something that was not PG.
I said the squirter is squirting.
Oh my
There we go.
God. That's why I
There we
wiped it
go.
from my memory, bro.
Yeah.
Tyler
Same.
Hero. He was getting the open space on cuts, dribbling into through defenders, not through defenders like literally, but beating him around the corner on the pick and
Yeah.
roll, getting shots from the perimeter, pump faking, getting into the lane. He was everywhere.
Hmm.
And while Chuck from TNT inside the NBA may have had a point where Tyler Hero had a kind of polarizing quote talking about how he wants to be included in the talks of Luka Doncic, DeAndre
Trey,
Ayton, the Trey
Trey
Young, the
Young.
guys that are at the top of his draft class. He's putting on, some great scoring performances to start the season, and he definitely looks like he's coming into his own. It's one thing Chuck was saying. It's one thing to come in and beat up the B team, right? To score on a bunch of scrubs, as opposed to in day out every night playing the best team, getting the best defenders on you, and then still performing on top of that. But he's playing within the system. He's doing what the team asked him to do. He did start for them after that finals run, and seems as though he's taking on exactly what Eric Spoelstra, Pat Riley, the organizational focus is, trying to blossom, but play within the system. A lot like what Kyle Lowry does, where he's like, okay, I can score if I have to, but I'm more here to play the role. And Kyle Lowry's role in comparison is to facilitate, not really get the counting stats unless he really needs to, but you see him getting the ball ahead to defenders or to guys on the fast break when they run, leading the charge on defense. So everyone seems like they're truly bought in and not having to feel each other out, even though they have a new acquisition in Kyle Lowry. When you contrast that to how the Mavericks definitely seem to be feeling out a lot of their guys, their system that they're trying to implement, and everyone wants to make a big to do about how things are going to be different. Under Jason Kidd, he really has a lot of changes that he wants to make, and they definitely do seem to want to run more. But in general, Luka Doncic is going to make up 80% of your successful possessions because that's how good that he is. He's good at distributing, good at scoring. There's not a lot that he's bad at. But at the end of the day, how much do you really want to deviate from that? If that's your ceiling as a team, like the best performance you can put on the court, what do you want to change? I think they just mean they want to have someone that can create a little more, right? Jalen Brunson did a great job today. He
Hmm.
was the best, most effective Maverick, but that's not going to happen every game. And I don't know how much a coach can do when the roster doesn't have a creator besides
Yeah.
sometimes Jalen Brunson. I mean, anybody care to disagree with me on that one?
Uh,
Mm, Go ahead.
nah, nah. In general, I mean, you're pretty much right. I mean, it's hard to. It's because I mean, just watching the Mavericks, like it was pretty much clear. It's still having the same issues from last year. Obviously, they're implementing a philosophy which can be a little bit difficult. Uh, especially when some of the players are in and out of the roster. But just changing how you think and just about getting your teammates more involved and things like that. Um, it can be difficult especially when Luca's been doing this for like 3 years now. So uh, there's still like 90% of the season left. So maybe the change of philosophy, can be implemented better later on into the season. But how far will that take them? Now I'm starting to see like maybe not so much. It may not change so much because they do need somebody that can reliably, take the ball out of Luca's hands and make a play happen.
But you don't want that all the time. You just
Well,
want that as
yeah,
as like a release valve, right? I mean,
yeah, yeah.
people want to say, "Oh man, Lucas gassed at the end of games. This doesn't
Mm,
work." Blah
mm,
blah 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 blah. But short of Kawhi Leonard going nuclear
yeah.
in the Clippers series, and then having the matchup with the Clippers the previous year in the bubble too. If the Mavericks win that series, who knows what could have happened in the next
Mm,
rounds? And we're not saying that the system obviously does not work. It definitely
mm,
can work. It just depends on
yeah.
how the bracket breaks out for you.
Mm,
So I mean, what do you think about that?
I think the system is really Houston Rocketish with James Harden.
Hmm.
And obviously that could have got them to the finals if it wasn't for Chris Paul's hamstring,
Hmm.
yeah.
right?
Yep.
But at the same time, when you lose games like this in a regular season against a really good team who's 6-1 now, and I mean, these can kind of get you on a good run. You know, those runs that every good NBA team has during the regular season where everything is aligning. And yeah, they're going to lose a couple more games in the season, but when they get to the playoffs, they have their kind of foundation for that season. Are the Mavericks going to be kind of like last year? I mean, most of their offseason moves were one, obviously Jason Kidd, which that's not going to happen in the first like 2 weeks of the NBA season,
Mm,
but it was bringing in a lot of 3 and D guys, and at the same time, that's good if you want to build on what they did last year, but it's not going to really bring a lot to what I think they really were missing in the playoffs was somebody who can take stress off of Luca, which is obviously what we all are Mavericks fans and me even because I'm a big KP fan. Like we want to see him become that unicorn again, and obviously he gets hurt here and there, and
Oh, I
it's
read the
hard.
best Twitter comment today. The unicorn, because like when do you ever see him? Uh, Missing his fourth straight game with lower back tightness.
mhm,
I've had a back spasm or two. I can only imagine having a
Yeah.
7 foot tall back. I'm sure back spasms hurt, but I've
mhm.
never known 4 games missing. I hope he can come back in the next one. They say he might play tomorrow.
Yeah, and I mean maybe they held him off tonight because of a back-to-back, but KP I think is the biggest all-season move, and even though he was with the team last year, it's the fact that he can still get a lot better than what he has already shown the Mavericks. I think they're gonna have to wait on that, and I just hope the Mavericks don't become a team where they just kind of let Luca do everything, which at times is when it's rolling, it's rolling. Just give him the ball. But if your game plan every game is just Luca dribble, do some pick and rolls, and then kick it out, teams are going to catch on, especially if it's their third straight season doing that. I'm pretty sure teams will catch on real quick. And just like how the Heat did, random double teams, rotating, making shooters drive, not shoot, because besides Luca and Brunson, I mean Tim Hardaway can put the ball on the deck, but he doesn't do it a lot. Dorian Finney-Smith is not gonna do it a lot. I mean, when he does, he gets caught for a charge foul like every time. And then KP is sometimes in the rotation, sometimes not.
And he can do
So
Kristaps Porzingis has an escape dribble, but he's not gonna necessarily drive all the way to the
yeah,
rim, especially if there's somebody in his way. He's gonna pull up into open space. You mentioned the other guys, Tim Hardaway, Dorian Finney-Smith. They can dribble in a straight line, but and then Jalen Brunson can dribble diagonally, but usually if he's gonna go to his left. So yeah, I mean, everything you're saying is absolutely true. You just gotta wonder, yeah, can Kristaps Porzingis play long enough for there to be a difference maker. Like that's
and even play long enough to get that rhythm. Like I guess the season before the bubble, when Luca was out for a stretch of games and KP was playing lights out. I mean, they went to Milwaukee, beat Milwaukee. They had impressive wins, and KP was dropping 30 something every game. And he just keeps getting hurt when he gets rolling. And that's the frustrating part. I imagine what he's thinking as well is anytime he gets it going and the Mavs get rolling, he gets rolling, there's an injury that comes up. So it's not just really, get him going, but it's about can he stay healthy long enough to, you know, sustain that positive play that he does because he's gonna bring it. It's just can he do it for a stretch of games, not just performing good, but availability.
what about on the Kyle? Anything stand out to you on the other side of the court, on the Heat side?
Yeah. Earlier you were saying like how Kyle Lowry came in for facilitating and helping Jimmy Butler with the ball handling and stuff, but he can also bring scoring, and he definitely showed that tonight. He was
Hmm.
hitting like three after three after three. Like he had one step back, and he was going crazy, and it just really shows how dangerous this Heat roster can be, especially when Milwaukee and the Nets are kind of in a weird spot right now. Obviously, it's just the beginning of the season, and they'll probably make a run to get back to the top of the East. But yeah, it's just showing like Miami's depth, and just like all the way through. Like they have dangerous guys. You brought up Chuck talking about Tyler Hero. He's scoring on the B team guys, but
Oh, he said the
I
scrubs. I
yeah yeah
misquoted him.
yeah
To
yeah
quote him
yeah yeah the
specifically, he
scrubs.
said scrubs.
Yeah, I guess it's scrubs. But I mean, I feel like it's not that one dimensional. You know, it's not like, oh, halfway through the first or like halfway or like into the second quarter, like, they just bring all the bench and
Yeah, it's
they
not like a
yeah,
hockey
yeah,
lineup where it's five
yeah,
bench guys. It's often a
yeah,
mix. It's Kyle
yeah,
Lowry, Tyler Hero, and then Dwayne
yeah,
Dedman plus
yeah,
Caleb Martin. But then
yeah,
also then Jimmy Butler will come back
yeah,
and Udonis Haslam shows up
yeah.
for
y-
for a minute or two at
And
the end of the
shoots a
second half.
three.
Yep, that was a wild three, bro. He shot a three like when I'm trying to heave it from half court. It's how he looked from the corner. Is how it looked. It was a little weird.
uh, but yeah, like so I disagree with that, to an extent, but I also think that, I don't think Tyler Hero's good enough on the Luke and Trey levels yet, but
Why don't you
I
tweet
I, I don't
Chuck
think.
that he's wrong? Tweet him.
Oh yeah, I should
Well,
tweet him
he doesn't
starting
have a
that.
Twitter. He doesn't have Twitter.
You gotta
Well,
tweet the show so you can get
yeah,
on the
yeah,
board.
yeah,
Oh
yeah. I
yeah.
gotta tweet the show. Yeah, but
That actually should be our show's number one goal for exposure.
mhm.
We need it to be tweeting
Yeah,
TNT every time.
yeah. Okay, we should. I mean, we watch all the games, so we
Their
have
their
three.
their
So.
producers probably are going to be on the lookout. Like, man, get these guys again. Like, you're not going to
Yeah,
get free publicity off of us.
yeah.
But one day they're going to have
Mm,
the intern that doesn't
mhm.
look, and we'll end up
Yeah.
on the board.
Uh, but yeah, and then like throughout all these games, even Duncan Robinson hasn't even utilized that much throughout these games. It's mostly
Yeah, he
Tyler
was two
Hero.
for two
So
from three tonight.
yeah,
Missed one shot from within
mm.
the 2 point arc, and
And he
didn't
fouled
seem to
out.
be. Oh yeah. He
Yeah,
was Luca's foul sponge,
yeah,
is what
yeah,
Duncan Robinson was tonight.
yeah,
The foul sponge. That dude was looking
yeah,
perplexed at every
yeah.
opportunity. And that's
Mm.
another thing. Fouls have been down overall this year. I'm sure you guys have been noticing so much physical play under the basket. Are you up on that, Kyle? I see some little thumbs going up.
Yeah,
Those are your thumbs? You
pretty
up with it?
good.
All right, yeah.
No, I was watching some stuff about about Boston. Well, I'm sure we'll probably talk about that a little bit later on, but how Tatum's kind of been struggling to adjust a little bit to the more physical, a little bit more physical play. How they're allowing uh or they're not giving as many calls as they did before, and I think that's good to see. Uh,
Yeah, well, I mean, even in this game that we're talking about specifically, there was a time where Bam Adebayo was wrapped up under the basket with three Mavericks defenders around him, and he kind of was pivoting on one foot, lost the ball again, got it back, and then eventually lost it out of bounds. Or no, he got called for a 3-second violation, not even a foul. I thought it was out of bounds. And the commentator, I think it was Stan Van Gundy on this game. No,
no, no, it
Reggie
was
Miller,
Reggie Miller on this
right?
game. Yeah, I got him. I
yeah.
got him crossed. Stan was on the next one. Um, well, he was like, "How is that a 3-second violation if he didn't have possession of the ball? That doesn't make any sense, Kevin Harlan." And they were just talking about it. But even with that physical play, these two teams got to the free throw line more than the league average has been so far, with the
Mm,
Heat going 26 for 30 from the line and the Mavericks going 22 for 31, excluding the non-competitive portion of the game. That can signal to someone that might say, well, the fact that the refs have been so like tight with a whistle or loose with the whistle where they aren't blowing it for any kind of contact, that's gonna go away as the year goes on and the point of emphasis gets, relaxed and they're not as strict on those bullshit fouls like where they stop in front of a defender that's running down the court or leaping into someone. A game like this one where there is still physical play and high foul totals for somebody like Jimmy Butler, whose foul rate has not gone down.
mm,
It's gone down by like 0.3 attempts per game this season over last season. When you compare that to Harden and Trey Young, um, that has not fluctuated for him. So that makes me think that physical play can continue and guys that can earn shots at the free throw line, they can coexist. That's not one or the other. So
Yeah.
I think that this style of play can persist, and I love it because there's even in this game where there was 60 free throws combined, I didn't feel like there were a lot of free
mm,
throws.
Yeah.
It felt like a smooth pace of play, and fast breaks were aplenty.
yeah.
Especially in the game that we that we were watching before we got on here. There's a million fast breaks,
Yeah.
but I'm really liking the product so far this year, and I think it can only get better if they change the intentional foul on a fast break, and after that, my pie in the sky, which I mentioned in the previous episode, is if my team has a shot clock violation and the opposing team gets the rebound there, they don't call the whistle and call it a dead ball. They just continue with play if the other team has gotten possession there. So just to keep it going, less
Mm,
stoppages.
Yeah.
mhm.
I
Uh,
mean, it definitely feels like kind of like how the Olympics were, with
Mhm.
the Team USA kind of struggling at first because they're so used to searching for fouls in the NBA now. So when you drive in, you're not really looking to score or to pass. You're looking for a foul. And
Yeah,
I think that's why Jimmy Butler is still going to the free throw line is because when he goes to the basket,
he's looking to
he's
score.
looking to score. Yeah,
Mhm.
a foul is okay, that's cool, but I'm getting this basket. And I think when you look at like James Harden or Trey Young, you look at players like that and they're going in, yes, they want to score obviously, but they're looking for a foul. They're
Right.
they're getting contact on purpose so they can get that foul, go to the free throw line and then get warm. And I mean, I like it. I like how they're going to call contact obviously, but they're not going to give these fouls where it's just a little tiny push. The NBA, you need contact or else it's gonna get too lopsided
And
again.
it
Like,
energizes the defenders. Like the defenders are happy in this
mhm.
scenario.
yeah,
Marcus
yeah,
Smarts of the world.
Uh, I was gonna say, yeah. I mean, part of it. I was gonna comment on Jimmy Butler too. Like, compared to like guys like James Harden, Trey Young, stuff like that. They're they're those two players are trying to game the system and they're trying to outsmart, or and kind of bend the rules and stuff like that to fit their play. Compared to Jimmy Butler, he's just a big dude and like he's never been trying to outsmart the rules, outsmart the system. All he does is, he's a big body, he's a strong dude, he
He
takes
just
it to
wants to
the
work hard
basket.
and be the
Yeah,
man.
yeah, he just taking it into the
sell
basket. Like
coffee.
he yeah, yeah, so coffee. But nah, he's just playing like a big dude, big, playing how he knows how to play instead of trying to outsmart the system like some of the other guys. And now guys like, I mean, mostly James Harden, they're kind of having to adjust like their mental game to not, look and try and get those types of fouls because obviously they're not calling them anymore.
Yeah, and I mean for Miami starting off the season, I've been really impressed with Bam. Obviously, we know what type of player he is. I mean, he made the Olympic team, finals appearance, but he's just impressed me by his consistency so far. Like his offense is getting better. We know what he is on defense, and just him getting more involved with like Miami's play calling and their overall like play set is showing how much they have trust in him because they have Jimmy Butler. Obviously, I love the Kyle Lowry pickup, and then you got shooters like Robinson and Hero and even PJ Tucker from the corner. But to have plays go to Bam consistently and bully Dwight Powell, it felt like at times.
Mhm.
Um, I mean that showed a lot. And then real quick on the Tyler Hero, his statements. Um, I don't think if he's putting up Trey Young, Luka numbers, Miami's not. They must not be winning a lot of games because he's what their fourth option, fifth
Yeah.
option. If he was maybe a first option, he'd put up a lot of numbers. His name would be thrown up there more, but if your name's not thrown up there with people who, I mean, obviously Trey had that nice run in the playoffs last year, but
He's option
pe-
1B, Robin. Option 1B. First off the bench.
against the scrubs, like Charles said. But I mean, even like today's game, I mean, efficient shooting, 25 points, the best plus minus in the game of plus 21. I
Mhm.
mean, these are the games he needs to have to win. And I mean, does he want to be winning and make the finals again, win a chip, or does he want his name to be up there with the Lukas and the Giannis's and the Trey Youngs as young best players, the Jason Tatums, and kind of have the same numbers as them. It's really for him to choose, but I think he should go the winning route because I don't
I
think
think
he can actually do that.
I feel like he's envisioning himself, being a cog on the team, but also he's the youngest on the team by a mile. So, building his equity up and getting an extension or something along those lines for when Kyle Lowry, Jimmy Butler retire or move on in a few years or their contracts end. That's kind of what I'm imagining. But that's just me looking at it through rose-colored glasses. Is there anything else you guys want to mention as far as this game goes or any NBA trend in general before we touch on the next one? And then I got a general question for each of you guys after that.
No, I think we're ready to move
Uh,
on.
Final thing is Willie Cauley-Stein can't guard anyone. Why does he look like? Oh, my favorite tweet from the week is somebody that was unfamiliar with Willie Cauley-Stein. He said, "Who is this guy? The guy that looks like an alien and immediately gets attacked by any offensive player that sees him on the court. Like like, oh, Willie Cauley-Stein's out here. Oh, I'm going right at him. Like just the target. So that's what I've been noticing lately, and I agree with that guy, except for the alien part. But he definitely gets attacked every time that he's on the court, unfortunately. And then what do you guys think of Frankie Smokes? Frank
Uh,
Nilikina.
he had some good moments. I was kind of surprised, but unless he takes like a big step and he's actually part of their offense, then he's just there as far as I know.
I mean, he's basically trying out for a
Yeah,
part as the seventh
yeah,
man or eighth man
yeah.
with this new Dallas Mavericks leadership council of
Mhm.
Kristaps Porzingis, Luka Doncic, and Tim Hardaway. Who knows when his role will expand? And so they really need to just give him some run. And if there's any team that has had a long history of letting undersized guards have a lot of success, why not have the Mavericks be his stop where he can score a bunch? Because Roddy Beaubois, JJ
Yeah,
Barea, Steve
Monte
Nash, short
Ellis.
Monte Ellis. Yeah, but Monte Ellis is two guard. Inside outside, Monte Ellis have it all. But yeah, I just wanted to ask you guys about Ntilikina. I was
Good
excited,
energy guy.
and I was excited about Sterling Brown as far as his energy
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
went with the putback under the rim, big rebound. Only 12 minutes in this game. If he can sharpen up, I can see him getting a little bit of a larger role, especially if Maxi Kleber's going to be out for X amount of games. There's definitely be spots where he's needed in the rotation with fouls and things like that. So, no Max Strus, our guy, the guy that the shot callers discovered a year ago,
Yeah.
for the Heat in this one. Dwayne Dedman, solid,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
that, like.
Solid.
So I've seen Dwayne Dedman play on the Hawks and the Kings, and he's never been. And we saw him. I think it was just last year. It was in their finals run or in their playoff run. Um, he's never looked more in shape, and that is a testament to how the Heat always mention Heat culture. Body weight index, BMI measurements every Fridays. Wear full pads in practice. Because it's gonna be physical. That guy was looking like imposing physically, just running the
Mhm.
fast break. Like if he beat you to the spot, you weren't gonna muscle him out of there. Maybe it's maybe it's the bald with the big beard. I don't know. Intimidation.
But
I'm
I,
intimidated.
I remember hearing like an interview with somebody. I want to say it's like Kyle Lowry or something, but
Mhm.
I remember hearing an interview with a Heat player that just joined the Heat, and he was just like, "Oh, how many times have you heard Heat culture already?" And they were like a billion
Oh
times
yeah.
already.
It's orientation day.
Yeah.
All right, Kyle, tell me, or Robin, shall we move on? Pelican Suns.
Yeah. Let's do it.
What do we have to
What?
say about this game? Is this game still going?
The
It is.
Suns are up by 10 with 30
Dang.
seconds left. Closer game than the Mavericks game.
I
Yeah,
didn't.
and it also featured, I mean, I guess the Mavericks game kind of featured a comeback, but this was actually like a
A,
second
a,
half
a
comeback.
pretty big comeback. Yeah.
Yeah.
Chris Paul got 18 assists.
He had 7 in the first like 5 minutes.
I know,
I
yeah.
know.
Which was wild
He's
to me, like uh just watching that first quarter, and then I was kind of making food at the time, and then all of a sudden I had the game on, but I come back and I hear like Chris Paul already has 7 assists, and he's tied Steve Nash in assists, and I'm like, and I look over and I'm like, what the hell? Like it's still like 4 or 5 minutes left in the first. I'm like, bro, he's really trying to destroy this record. And then also on top of that, if he has 18 assists right now, I'm pretty sure he had 18 assists like last season against the
yeah.
Pelicans. Yeah, so dude, it's tearing them up.
Yeah,
Uh,
I just know that Chris Paul took sole possession over third place overall
Yeah,
in assist totals, passing Steve Nash with his 8th assist tonight. And these New Orleans Pelicans guards, especially in the first half, were just everywhere, all over the
yeah.
passing lanes, hands everywhere. Chris Paul was tripping, sliding. One guy crossed them over. Dude, they were just getting hands and deflections everywhere and streaking down the court for multiple fast break layups and dunks. It's
and
pretty
this is with
crazy.
no Zion, no Brandon Ingram. This is a whole different. This is the Pelicans without their future. And I mean, they were up 14 after the first quarter, and then
I
I think
mean,
they were up 11 at halftime or something like that.
yeah,
But
and I mean, was it just the future? Because it was who did they have out there? Garrett Temple, 35 years old. The other four
no, I'm saying
players
they were
were,
without their future.
yeah, yeah, but the other four
Oh,
players, 21
oh,
years old at that time. So I mean, it's still the future.
yeah. I mean, maybe after this game in the first half, maybe.
Herb Jones, man, don't slander Herb Jones. What,
Who?
Kyle? Herb
I
Jones, their
know,
center, power
eh,
forward, but he slides down to center when Valanciunas isn't in the game.
bro. That's
Who?
I laughed because that was literally my exact thought. I was like, Herb Jones. Oh, I my bad. I shouldn't slander him. I've never heard of him before, but
Who is this guy?
but yeah. I mean, I feel like those were the big storylines to look out. I mean, yeah, they were. And it was just like they were forcing a lot of silly turnovers out of the Suns, especially in the first half. Like Devontae Graham, like I think he stripped like I can't remember
He
if it
stripped
was
Chris
Chris Paul.
Paul.
Oh, yeah, Chris Paul, and then just laid it in. And I was like, what the hell? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Chris Paul was looking kind of old in that first half, but Devin
well,
Booker came through.
mhm,
Um,
yeah,
the last thing I was gonna say was, if these guys are missing facilitators, if Nikhil Alexander Walker doesn't have it going, if Zion's not playing, Brandon Ingram's not dribbling the ball up, Devontae Graham, who does play point guard but is a little hot and cold, like even in this game, 4 for 15. Why don't they use my man Tomas Satoransky, who was on the
oh
Bulls
yeah,
previously on the Everybody Eats Wizards when John Wall was injured? Bradley Beal went out for about a month's time, and everybody was scoring. Everybody was out there facilitating. Tomas Satoransky had like 12 points a game, but he also had like 9 assists every game. Everybody was like, "What's going on? We're winning more without John Wall." Is Thomas Satoransky the answer? Obviously not. But he went to the Bulls, got traded to the Pelicans, and that's why they got rid of Lonzo Ball. I don't know why they did that. Lonzo Ball is filling it up and looking awesome in Chicago. But
mhm,
if you're gonna trade for Tomas Satoransky, like play him. He's getting
yeah,
DNP coach's decisions. It doesn't make any sense to me. So
yeah,
free Tomas is what I have to say.
I agree. Uh, yeah, I don't know. This New Orleans situation is just real weird right now. And then we were talking about earlier. Zion's still out. And I was commenting. I was like, why does New Orleans have so many national TV games? Like this is their second one, and it's only been like 2 weeks of NBA. And then he put it or Robin reminded me, like, oh yeah, they were expecting Zion. Zion's on the team. I'm like, oh yeah, but then also over this off season and stuff, obviously he's injured right now, and he came out with that, and he's been sitting. But then also, like I was gonna say, like there's been rumors like he's not happy with the organization, like and things like that, and he potentially could want out. And so it's just like it's such a weird little situation. I mean, like, yeah, he's a really good player, but then also he, it's kind of polarizing because he's been hurt a lot in his very short career. But in the time that he has played, like he's been really good. Uh, Not complete, but really good. Um,
Oh yeah,
so it's
he's like in
just
year two.
yeah. I mean, yeah, but still, I mean, what do you mean? Dude,
No, I mean I agree with
yeah,
you, but just people always
bro.
seem to have like to want to quantify. He's not perfect, like well, obviously, like nobody is. Um, but sorry, that just
Yeah.
that phrase always kind of like you don't
No,
have to say
okay.
that every time,
Yeah, okay.
or people whenever they want to slander a player, they're like
Mhm.
I really love and respect DeMar DeRozan's game, but he can't shoot threes. Like you can just say he
Yeah.
can't shoot threes, although he is shooting uh decent from the corner this season. He
Mhm.
stretched that
Mhm.
out in that direction. Big props to DeMar DeRozan. Go Bulls, go! Bulls are back.
Yeah.
Got our Bulls fan in here.
No,
Uh,
yeah, I mean, I just said he's not complete because, like, he's like, questionable on defense, and he doesn't shoot many jumpers, but that's all.
But do you have to shoot jumpers if you can
No,
just literally roll to the
yeah,
rim like a boulder?
like
yeah,
Giannis did it all playoffs.
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
think with Zion right now, it's about getting his body right. He needs to be. He can't keep getting away with missing half the season. I know this is only his third season.
Yeah,
This one's
third.
about to be. So I mean, obviously he's young and he has a lot of time, and I'm pretty sure he has the training staff and whoever's on the team
I
that says,
mean,
"Hey, eat this, do that."
no, I don't know. The rumor is that his mother is his nutritionist. That's what I've been reading
Bro.
today.
Oh,
Live
nah.
reaction. How do you feel about that? I'm gonna say the words again, Robin. Zion's mother is Zion's nutritionist.
So what does it be eating? Ravioli every day?
I don't know. I don't know.
Texas toast? Jesus Christ. He
Bro.
needs to get his body right. I mean,
I
this
mean,
guy can change the NBA like Giannis did, and this guy has a lot of money to make and probably a couple of championships down the road if he can get his body right. Because right now he looks like Mark Henry. He doesn't look like a basketball player. He looks like he's about to go perform at WrestleMania.
you guys
Like,
seen him in the Mountain Dew commercial that just came out?
uh-uh.
Dude, I I've seen like the screenshot, but I'm like, is that real? I'm like, that can't be real.
It's with him and Zach Levine.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can pull it up for you guys.
Oh, I think I've seen it.
Yeah, I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, bro, that can't be real. Like he can't he literally couldn't have gotten that fat.
Here, I got it pulled up right here. So I pulled up the YouTube clip of the Mountain Dew commercial. Is that what I said it was? Mountain Dew?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's unflattering, man. They say the camera adds 10 pounds.
So before or after receiving surgery on his injured right?
So I got it muted because this is some dude's commentary over the over it, and it looks like this is like a hit piece because he's just literally going back and forth to different reactions of Zion here, but he's looking kind of heavy. I mean, when
He
you're
looks like a linebacker.
when you're sitting back on the couch, like it's not a flattering
Yeah.
pose. The camera adds somewhere between 10 and 40 pounds. But yeah, like you could say that there's some work to be done in terms of his physique. Kobe Bryant
Some
himself
work.
could tell you that the lighter you are, the easier it is on your knees. And if you're looking at having a career past the average, an average NBA career is 4 years. Let's say he gets to 10 years. 10 years in, he'll be 31. And you don't want to have any wear and tear that you don't need to have on your knees, of course, especially when you're as heavy and dynamic as he is. Like, we've never seen hops like that in a player that size before. Like, it's ridiculous. And you want to see that. You want to see him age gracefully, much like, Vince Carter, Blake Griffin, guys that are primed around athleticism have kind of turned it around and gone towards more finesse.
Mm.
And that starts now, man, unfortunately. And I don't mean to say that because I'm older than him, which I'm realizing now. I am older than him. But
I think we all are, aren't we?
yeah, we all are. But
Yeah.
it's just funny because I'm older than you guys, so I feel like I'm preaching down to him too. But I mean, he's so exciting and dynamic to play. Like, it's must see TV. Him and John Morant, like, you can be walking by, like, you're in a bar and they got it on, and no matter who you're with, whether or not they like basketball, if Zion's on the screen or John Morant's driving to the rim, you can be like, look at this guy. This guy is unlike anybody else on the court right now. And you want that. That's what you want for the NBA. And that's what I'm hoping for. Hopefully he comes back before Christmas.
Hopefully. They have a Christmas game, right?
I'll pull up the schedule while y'all talk.
Oh God, I
Uh,
hope not.
I want to say they do actually, but I'm not sure. But
Here, I got it coming up. Any notes on the Suns while we're on this particular game? I know we've been talking about Zion forever.
I think a little slower start to the season, but I think that's as to be expected because people definitely have them, marked on their calendars like, oh, it's the Suns. Last season, everyone was like, well, is the bubble just the bubble? Are they for real? Now we know they are for real. So I think more teams are going to be gunning for them. I mean, they're still, season's still young, 76 games. They're 3-3. So, but I think they're kind of realizing they're not a sleeper team anymore. Even though they were the second seed, or they were the second seed, they're not a sleeper team anymore. Because people know they can win the West.
Yeah.
And just to answer the question about the schedule, on Christmas, the Pelicans are not featured. The Hawks versus the Knicks, which should be spicy. Celtics versus the Bucks, which should also be probably good if the Celtics haven't imploded by then and been relegated to the G League. The Warriors play the Suns, which should be spicy. Nets versus Lakers, and you know that's going to have some fireworks. LeBron likes to bring it on
Yeah.
Christmas. And then finally, the Dallas Mavericks versus the Jazz, and the Dallas Mavericks have a lot of work to do if they want to make that game competitive because the Jazz were the last standing undefeated team until recently, and
Wait, so they don't have the MVP on Christmas?
They do. It's
yeah, the
Milwaukee and
Bucks.
Boston.
Wait, the MVP is
The
Jokic.
MVP.
Jokic. Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
you said Finals
Yeah.
MVP in my
Yeah,
defense.
no.
They should have had a Nuggets against 76ers game. That would have been
That would have been
two
sick.
best centers. That would have
yeah.
been nice.
But I think at the point of the schedule making, they knew that the Ben Simmons thing would be in the air. Whereas at the time,
well,
of
we're
schedule
not
making,
paying it. We're not watching to see Ben Simmons, pass a layup up.
no, I know, which is why they didn't want to schedule the 76ers.
I want to see Joel Embiid against, Jokic. That would be nice.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. Yeah. I remember hearing that before the season started too. Like they were like, "Oh, no reigning MVP." It was like the first time like the reigning MVP doesn't get a Christmas game or something
As
like
a
that.
player, I'm pretty sure he loves it though.
Oh, I was gonna
Yeah.
say, and Jokic don't give a fuck. He said,
Yeah.
I don't give a
He does.
damn.
Yeah.
They probably don't even know about Christmas where he's from. Probably grew up not celebrating it. But I don't know. That's not a fact. I'm not. Where is he from? Is he from Serbia?
Yeah, Serbia. Yeah.
Okay,
He's
yeah.
Serbian.
Do you know about the Serbian holiday calendar? I don't.
I don't, but I would think they would celebrate Christmas.
Man, I'm gonna Google that right now.
I'm pretty sure they're like Catholics out there.
Okay, all right. What are you basing that
Kyle,
on?
don't say nothing now. You're
No.
you're on the internet, Kyle.
No.
Don't say nothing now. This ain't or he's more than the fifth grader. This will get brought
Well,
up.
it's
Bro, I've got Serbian public holidays pulled up right now, and I
Mm-hmm.
do not see Christmas here.
okay.
Armistice Day, Easter Monday, Labor Day, Easter, Good Friday,
Easter. If they celebrate,
Statehood Day. Well,
that-
why isn't? Oh, here it is.
Yeah.
Eastern Orthodox Christmas, but it's
Yeah.
in January, so he definitely don't
Oh.
care if he's not playing on December 25th.
okay.
But he is American now, okay?
You're right.
Yeah.
chugs
He's
2
a
bottles
resident of
Big Red or
Denver,
whatever.
Colorado.
Okay.
No, I remember what I was gonna say. I was gonna say like it feels like the West is like pretty wide open right now. Like
You got the Jazz to a hot start, but
yeah. I mean, I feel like other than like the Jazz and the Warriors, and the Warriors potentially. I mean, they could probably drop a couple games here and there, without Clay and all that. But other than that, like I feel like the West is pretty competitive all the way through. Like third seed through eighth seed probably. Like it's the like Lakers obviously not have gotten off to a hot
Before you
start.
say the West being wide open, before you continue on your point, I guess we should transition to my question for you guys, which is pretty simple, free form, and you can continue on with this, Kyle, as the answer. But I wanted to talk about what y'all's number one favorite storyline overall is right now for the NBA. It could be anything, player, team, league overall. And so, is this what you wanted? What you are wanting to talk about, Kyle? How wide open the West is?
Yeah, especially with the Clippers being, without Kawhi, and obviously they're not getting off to a hot start. It just feels like the West is pretty wide open. I mean, Phoenix hasn't gotten off to the best start. Lakers, like I said, Dallas is there. The Nuggets are, I think they just lost to I can't remember who they lost to the other day, but it was kind of like a significant loss. So I feel like it's competitive pretty much all the way through, and it's because of injuries and there's just a lot of stuff going on in the West, and so I feel like it's not as up for grabs as it's not set in stone like a lot of people think it could be.
It definitely seems like there's a lot more
yeah.
shaking out to do
Yeah.
on a lot of
Yeah.
different teams. Robin, what's your number one thing?
my favorite is MVP frontrunner Kyle Kuzma and the Wizard. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. No, mine is the teams that made a lot of offseason moves. I know I was really big on the Bulls. They're 6-1, so it's about what's exciting is teams that put it together quickly and that get it kind of ahead, and then teams that kind of find it along the regular season, maybe later in the regular season, maybe like how the Nets will do or the Lakers will do, because we all know they're going to be bound to, finally get it together. But it's about teams like the Bulls. Can they keep it together while the Nets start rising again, the Hawks rise, the Bucks rise, or is this like our Bulls for real? It's exciting to see these teams jump out. I mean, even the Timberwolves are somewhat doing decent again.
Yeah.
Um, so that's what I'm excited to watch. But I think they're both. I mean, 2 weeks in, everything's gonna be wide open unless you have like the Nets go 9-0, and you're like, okay, we know what's
Mm-hmm.
happening. But I think it's gonna be wide open. And I don't think we're gonna have a legit favorite probably till usually it's after Christmas, getting near the All-Star break. But I like watching the Bulls, and then seeing teams from last year who were disappointed in the playoffs, like the Knicks and the Nuggets. How are they going to rebound and get better? And all the returns. Klay Thompson's coming back. Jamal Murray's coming back. I believe Kawhi should come back.
I
Zion will
mean, I
come
wouldn't be
back
surprised if he didn't
and
come
then
back
get
at all.
hurt and then come back again. It's gonna be exciting to watch all that.
Yeah, I think what's cool about the Bulls is like, what's really stood out about them hasn't been like their offense, it's been like their defense. Their defense has been really stand out, and what has kind of allowed them to be this good and have gotten out to such a hot start. And I feel like that's a really important piece to kind of have a championship competitive roster. And I'm not sure if they're championship ready now, but if they're able to keep the defense at the level that it is throughout the entire season, then I feel like they have a really strong foundation to build upon. And so yeah, I think I probably underrated them when we did our rankings, and same with the Knicks too. Like, they've gotten off to a better start than I thought they would. Uh, so shout out to those two teams, and now also the Wizards. The Wizards have been
Dude,
weird. Like, I what were you gonna say? Were you gonna say
just the
something about the
Knicks.
Wizards?
No,
Oh.
the Knicks. You mentioned the Knicks, and I gotta just give a shout out to that one crazy ass double overtime game that they had on the opening night of the season, or their
Yeah.
first game in Madison Square. And then they
Good
that super cut on Twitter of all the Knicks fans going crazy. And there was the one guy that says "Bing bong" for the Knicks. And so Mike Breen said it. There was a big three that they made. I forgot who made it. I don't think it was Evan Fournier, but he made a big three, and Mike Breen says "Bing bong." I'm gonna pull it up.
Yeah, you should pull that up. I haven't heard that, but yeah, like I said, shout out to Knicks. They've gotten off to a good start, and then also the Wizards have been like weirdly good. Uh, like it's really been a team effort for them. Trez is. I mean, and it kind of makes sense too. A lot of those guys kind of have a chip on their shoulder. Like, Montrez was, underplayed, and I guess you could say underperformed with the Lakers and the Clippers and that in those two situations. And now he's come out and he's put up some good numbers for the Wizards. Same with like Kuzma and Spencer Dinwiddie. He got hurt last season, ended up getting traded away. But he's played solid for Washington, and they've you know had some solid wins. That they beat Atlanta, which I would think most people didn't expect. Uh, so they've gotten off to a really good start. I don't know how it'll carry on throughout the season, but we'll see how it is.
Just to finish up, I did pull up that clip, and it was Julius Randle sinking this three, and you'll just hear the rest.
Tell people, man, you were Durant before Durant. Julius Randle banks it in. Bing bong. Julius Tell
Bing
people, man, you were
bong.
Durant.
It didn't flow as right. It didn't flow as right.
No,
Yeah,
I
he-
liked it. I liked it.
Yeah. No, I mean, he made it work. I thought it would sound funnier, but yeah.
Yeah, I did too.
But yeah, he definitely made it flow.
Y'all were just
New-
expecting him
New-
to go bing bong immediately,
Yeah,
right? Before instead of talking
yeah.
first.
Yeah. I don't know. New York is funny like that,
Yeah.
Like, well, like what the fuck does that even mean? Like where do you come
Dude,
up with that?
It's unreal up there, man.
Yeah.
If you guys will make it up to New York, let me know when you go, and I'll go up there too. Because man, I can't wait to go back up there. But yeah,
Well, I mean, do y'all have any thoughts about the Wizards, or it's just like no thoughts? You know,
Dude, the crazy
they'll
thing to me is that I've been reading about Rui Hachimura and how he has not been in any practice sessions like at all for the team. Like they're saying
really,
that he is just now doing team workouts, like literally this week, and how he is meeting with members of the leadership staff for the first time, and just literally his teammates don't know where he's been at. So I think that's kind of wild.
yeah, I didn't know
So
about that.
yeah, but it is cool to see those ex-Lakers kind of getting some run in. Montrezl Harrell, Kuzma, showing that you're not only hyped up when you're on the Lakers, you can actually be a positive contributor on other teams
Yeah.
as well. Lonzo Ball, another one of those. Go
Mhm.
Lonzo Ball. You're not only good because you're a Laker. So, um,
Same with Alex Caruso.
dude, the Caruso. Man, it's hard to not be a mini Bulls fan right now.
Mhm.
And dude, speaking of the Bulls, you did not think that the Bulls would pull off a comeback like they did last night.
Yeah.
In previous years, like Zach LaVine pulled number two, long contested twos to try to win or come back. That wasn't happening last year. They got DeMar DeRozan taking guys off the dribble, getting to a spot, shooting corner threes. Zach LaVine splash and slash.
Mhm.
So Vucevic can do a little something sometimes, which is like found money at the moment until he gets in his groove. I know he's an all-star center in the East on another team, but I don't know if he'll make it this year on the Bulls when he has other
Mhm.
contributors. But um, these Bulls came back from 19 down in the fourth quarter to
Mhm.
beat the Celtics and caused Marcus Smart to give off some explosive comments,
Mhm.
seemingly explosive.
Yeah. I you I know you watch B-Ball Breakdown, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
I knew you were gonna. I think we watched the same video.
the Marcus Smart one that he just posted.
Yeah, here it goes right
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Here's the quote. I would like. I would just tell me what your reaction is to this, Robin. I would just like to play basketball. Smart said. Every team knows we're trying to go to Jason and Jalen. Every team is programmed and studied to stop Jason and Jalen. I think everybody's scouting report is to make those guys pass the ball. They don't want to pass the ball.
That
What do
don't
you think?
sound good. That does not sound good if I was Jason or
Jason or
Jalen.
Jalen. Well, there's
If
more
I
to
was
it.
J or J.
There's more to it to make it sting a little less. He says that's something they're going to learn. They're still learning. We're proud of the progress they're making, but they're going to have to make another step and find ways to not only create for themselves but create for others on this team. Open up the court later down in the game when they're going to have to take those tough shots or take tough matchups when they get the one-on-one or bring the trap. Blah 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 blah. Team player. Um, Kyle thinks that this just means Marcus Smart wants more shots. And it's not really about team ball, but he wants to shoot more. Do you agree with Kyle? With what Kyle's saying?
Mm, to a certain extent, I don't totally agree that Marcus Smart wants more shots. I just think he knows that when you get doubled, if you're J or J, that's cool. But when you're J or J and then you get doubled, you do have to pass it up. You have to trust your teammates. And I know in past times where, they did trust their teammates and, they lost games. Now it's like they're putting it on their shoulders to win games. And we all know when you do that, you start losing more games. Um, so I get where Marcus Smart is coming from, but sometimes if you're an athlete, I think there's a lot of stuff that's said to the media that's more of an in locker room conversation.
I mean,
I
yeah,
don't I
I
don't like how they tell the media all this stuff. Um, just because, I'm pretty sure, Marcus Smart is like the vocal leader on that team, so everyone's gonna listen to him, but I get where he's coming from, but I don't think he wants more shots. I think he's satisfied with
I
how
mean,
they are.
before Kyle has his rebuttal here, uh, Marcus Smart has been at the center of other like explosions coming out of the locker room that have been reported saying that they disagree on this or that or this many shots. People thought that was Terry Rozier in years past, and maybe it was, but Marcus Smart has been talking about these principles for different coaches, different years. He's been on that team for several years. Um, and then when you take that aspect out of it, let's say that Jalen Brown, really Jason Tatum is ball hogging because we know he's shooting like 24 attempts per game for his 24 points. Look at his roster. Look at their roster. Take out Marcus Smart, Jalen Brown, and Jason Tatum. Here's the rest of it. notable names. Dennis Schroeder, who good 6 man of the year on
OKC.
on OKC, runner up on the Lakers. Al Horford, who is 3 years past when they last had him. Juancho Hernan Gomez, who doesn't get almost any playing time. Jabari Parker, who's on his like 7th team in 7 years.
Robert Williams the third.
Enes Kanter, who's not playing. Grant Williams. Peyton Pritchard, who's looking positive. And then, Time Lord Robert Williams III. So I
There
would.
we go.
With
I didn't know who
the best
Kyle
two at the
said,
end.
but when you said Time Lord, it rung a bell.
Yeah. So of all those names, those aren't exactly necessarily upgrades over 3 years ago. Al Horford, Kyrie Irving, Gordon Hayward. These are all guys that they've lost. So the talent's gone down. A
Yeah.
coach can only do so much, and a coach needs the time to build the roster up and get guys on the same page. But just when it seems like Jason Tatum is looking for himself, no matter what's going on, like Jaylen Brown could murder someone and be wide open because his defender's dead body's right in front of him. Jason Tatum's still going to take the contested long too.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I mean, their team skill level's going down, but their skills themselves are going up. So I get where they're coming from as far as, we got to score because they know it's really just them two on that team. Marcus Smart's going to bring more on the defensive side of things. Same with Robert Williams, but I see where they're coming from, but they do have to be more efficient because 24 shots, who's doing that? 24 shots for 24 points?
It's Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
I don't think that's like the exact numbers, but it's along the lines of that. It's like he's taking a lot of shots, or he's getting a lot of points, but he's taking like a lot of shots on not good efficiency. And also he's not shooting good around the rim either. He's like below 50% around the rim, which is not good. Whoops. But talking about that b-ball breakdown video, the most recent one he's posted, he's talking about like he thinks Marcus Smart is overrated. Like he's not as good as a defender anymore. Like he lets guys get past him a lot, and he takes he makes weird decisions on the offensive side. So I mean I don't watch enough Marcus Smart to really make sense of that, but I would say, I mean, b-ball, I mean, Coach Nick has obviously put in the time to watch Marcus Smart. So at the end of the video he was like he said he believes that that Boston should move on from the Marcus Smart experience before he ruins the locker room. So I was like, damn. Well, I mean, I see that angle, because let's say if you trade Marcus Smart, you could probably get some decent stuff for him. And then could this ruin the locker room? I mean, it could. I mean, we don't know how this is gonna go on, internally in a couple weeks, whatever. We don't know how Jason and Jalen are taking this. But I kind of know what you mean, Robin, where you like when you say like, oh, that's kind of like more in the locker room type talk, because when you say it outside of that you're kind of just like putting pressure on them. You're like, hey, you said it out in public, so now it's like, okay, you actually have to like
Do it.
react to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have this like official,
He's gonna have
like,
to
oh,
get
you're gonna
questions
see
about
this.
it every
Yeah,
time.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
gonna see it now. So
And I was talking to this with a couple of my buddies after the playoffs last year, but I think with the Celtics roster, how it is right now, I think they should break it up already. Just because they're not winning the championship this season, and unless they make some crazy offseason moves, they're not going to win it next season. And I'm not saying, tank for the next 10 years, but um, definitely build that roster because Jason Tatum is a championship caliber player. So is Jaylen Brown. If they keep one, trade the other. If they keep both, then this is definitely the time to start building that roster because they don't have any hopes this season. So it's like why fight for a play-in spot just to get bounced early when you can start making the moves now and get your roster set going forward because the Celtics are going to compete for a long time, but are they going to keep getting stuck in that first, second round? Maybe make it Eastern Conference Finals here and there, or are they going to build their team right and start making the finals again? Like we all know the Celtics are known for.
Yeah, I'm kind of the reason, we did the video a couple weeks ago of you know uh, preseason predictions and all that, and I thought Boston could get by on Jason and Jalen's talent alone, and I still believe that. But I think you're right. Their roster does have to have some changes to like either like enable them better or be better on defense for them.
And I didn't
Uh,
even mention Kemba Walker as somebody that
yeah,
they lost
yeah,
earlier.
yeah. No, no, yeah. I caught that. I was gonna mention him, but I was just like,
They lost Fournier too, right?
yeah, Fournier, yeah,
Yeah, they didn't have him for too long, but
yeah.
I think that if they traded Marcus Smart somewhere and got a more traditional, somebody that was more of a facilitator than Marcus Smart is, because
Mm-hmm,
his assist totals aren't super high compared to
mm-hmm,
his contemporaries at his position. I think that they could still go a little further and lean a
mm-hmm,
little more towards the offensive side than the
mm-hmm,
defensive side, because those guys are just too short to rebound effectively. Like it doesn't matter how well you can defend if you're giving up second chance points every time.
mm-hmm.
Um, just my opinion, because Al Horford's not a super strong rebounder, and you don't know how often Robert Williams is going to play. Just my 2 cents. But we will keep this situation in our sights as it develops. I think
Mm-hmm.
that anything else you guys wanted to mention before we wrap it up?
You said in your opinion, like you're Mark Jackson.
I didn't mean to. I've been watching too much hoops. Next thing you know, I'll be fucking preaching on the street in Las Vegas.
No, I'm good. I'm good for I'm good.
Well, that's it for me too. We will catch you guys next Tuesday, not Thursday, because the NBA is scared of the NFL. However, in January, we'll be shifting back to Thursdays if the NBA stops being afraid of the NFL. Where can people find our content, Kyle?
You can find us on YouTube for obviously, make sure you like the video or dislike, whatever, just interact. Uh you can look at me crazy, but it does numbers for the algorithm, brother. It does. Leave a comment, subscribe if you like our content, and if you want to keep up with us, hit the notification bell. Also, we're everywhere, virtually everywhere. You can listen to podcasts, Anchor FM, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher Breaker, and Pocket Casts. And make sure
Perfect.
y'all leave us a review on there.
All
This
right.
guy asked for a dislike.
All right. So for Robin, for Kyle, I'm Rich, and we will see you guys next time.